Welcome back as we continue in our designing a simple game using the follower tags. If you've been with us, you know that we have a mouse here with a microchip on it, and in that microchip we have two follower tags. One follower tag tells the mouse to go after the cheese, and the other one tells the mouse to flee from the cat. We have a health modifier, which allows the mouse to do damage to the cheese, and we have a health manager, which controls the health of the mouse. When the cat catches the mouse, the health is depleted, the mouse is destroyed, the mouse count variable is increased by 1, and there's a little sound effect. Now we're going to add something else to this because right now when this mouse is moving around, it's just a little sculpture. It's not anything, it's not a puppet or anything. It has no built-in logic, and many times it'll go off and it'll move in whatever direction it feels like moving. It'll move sideways, it'll move backwards, and occasionally it'll run into other mice and flip over on its back and keep moving. And so we're going to put something in there that'll make it behave more like a mouse. So we're going to go into our gadgets. We're going to go to our mover and output, and we're going to go to something called a rocket rotator. We're going to put that rocket rotator in there, and the rocket rotator is going to do two things. First of all, we're going to tell it to help our mouse stay upright, and when it runs into things, it'll flip over and hopefully it'll flip back. That's right. So that's one thing it's going to do. The other thing it's going to do is we're going to move this little arrow here, and we're going to tell it to go in the direction of straight ahead. Oops, got lost there a little bit. We want that mouse to move straight ahead. So we put that arrow there, and it's going in basically in the direction front. And the mouse will move, it's out of the way here, the mouse will move basically in the direction, forward direction, which is what we want. So that rotator is very handy, and so we now have that to help the mouse stay upright and moving in the right direction. Now the other thing, we have this play area, and right now it looks like it's a box with an open end. Now the problem with an open end is if the mouse flees from the cat, it very likely will go off the edge here. And if it flees into the corners, it will get stuck. So we want something, a play area that where the mouse can move around and not get stuck, and a defined area. And so what I did was I have an area that turn off visibility, and you can see we have this little ring. And inside this ring is where our mouse and cat are, and the mouse will always stay within this ring. It won't get stuck because it's round, there's no corners to get stuck. And so, and I turn it off just because it looks cleaner without it, but you can leave it on if you want to. So we have the ring. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to put something up on the screen. Remember last time we had the thing that the health bar for the cheese. Well, this time we want to have a score thing for keeping track of the number of mice caught. And so we're going to go in here and we're going to go to gadgets, and we're going to go to let's see, let's go to a well, I guess first of all we need a microchip. So let's put the microchip in here. Number one, that's the first thing we need. Okay, now that we have a microchip, we're going to start adding things to it. And what we want, the first thing we want to add to that is we want to add a text displayer. So we're going to add a text displayer here, and in that text displayer, we're going to put text that is going to say mice caught. And then we'll put a couple of spaces in, and then we'll say of, and in the first level I have 3 mice. It seems 3 seems to be a good figure for learning how to play the game, and so we'll put 3 in there. So we're looking to display here the number of mice that are caught as the cat is chasing after them. So and we're going to change the color on that. We're going to go down here to turn off auto fit, and just like we did with the health bar, we're going to have that. We're going to put a color in the background. Let's go ahead and make that yellow, kind of keeping with the color scheme of the game. And nope, that's not it. That's the border color. And let's put the border color back to black. There we go. This is what we want. And let's go ahead and put that to yellow. So mice caught, and that's pretty much all we really need to know. Because it's the auto fit is off, we can move it anywhere we want, and we'll just put it right down there. And that will, during the game, that will update from 0 to 3. Now, where are we going to get the number? Well, we're going to, first of all, we're going to put in here a variable. And we're going to look for a variable in our logic and processing, and we're going to look for a variable, there it is, and we're going to put that variable up there. And we're going to name that variable. Every variable has to have a name, and we're going to call it mouse count. And you can just leave all those numbers alone. And so we have a variable called mouse count. Right now it's at 0, but every time a mouse is caught, the variable modifier that is on the mouse, each mouse has its own variable modifier, will increase that variable by 1. Okay, now we need to add some more things to this, and first thing we're going to need is a number displayer. So let's go over here and let's go back to mouse output, and let's go over to a number displayer, and we're going to display a number, and we're also going to want to put in here, I'm looking at my notes because my memory is bad, we're going to want a counter and a timeline. So let's go ahead and get a counter from our logic and processing. We want a counter. Where's the counter? Counter. There it is. Put that counter in there. And we're also going to put in let's see, what else we're going to put in there. Well, I think that's probably it for now. Let's see how this works. All right, we're going to have a modifier, and we're going to have that modifier. The mouse count modifier is going to go from its current value to input into the number range. And we're also going to go from that mouse count modifier, and we are going to increase and to the count. So in here we're setting the counter. This is what we want to get to. The target value is 3, and we're going to increase it by 1 every time it gets that variable modifier gets the variable gets modified. So that's basically what we want, and we want to be able to have that number displayer also be auto fit, and we also want it to be the same font. So we'll go down here, add one, and because it's an auto fit, we can put that down here, and we can size that to this. There we go. And we want that background to be that yellow that we had before. So let's go ahead and put that yellow in, and we want the border turned off. So now let's put this, activate this. So now we have that, and we have that, and what we want to do is we want to move this down so that it is in there. Mouse caught 0 of 3, and that number will get updated. All right, and I think what we can do back in here is we can go in and put in a colon. There we go. Yeah, maybe put another space in just to give ourselves a little extra room there. Okay. And we need to make this a little bit smaller so that it fits in here. Alright, so now we have the 0 in there, and we need to make that a little bit bigger, losing a little bit of that number off of there. Now let's just do this right. Okay, now put that in there, and we're going to have to make that a little bit larger. Okay, there we go. And we can go back in here and we can just add another couple of spaces. Okay, well, that's a little rough, but you can see what we're doing here. And that number, 0, will get updated every time a mouse is caught. The variable will be updated, and that number will be added to. And boy, this is giving me a lot of problems here. Once we get that where we want it, there we go. Okay, so we have that down there, and that is going to take care of that. Let's see now. Let's put a couple of mice in here. Let's copy a couple of these. And over here. And we shall see if our little thing works. Let's go over here, press play, and we see that we've got and we caught 1. Okay, well the cheese got eaten, but that's okay, we're not really worried about it. And 3 of 3. So our little thing is counter is working there. We caught 3 of 3 mice, and so that is a success. So I think that we have handled the things that I want to show in this video, and when you put it all together, it's going to look really, really good. So next time we'll look at sound effects, music, and loading screens, and not necessarily loading screens, introduction screens, I suppose, to each of the, and how to create levels. So until then, I hope you'll check back and watch the progress as we continue in creating this very simple little game using the follower tag. Thanks a lot for watching.